What is up, and welcome to Me, You, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable 5 to 10 minute episodes. It is Friday, May 8th. It is 8:02 a.m. on the East Coast. Happy Friday. This is episode 98. I hope that you had a great week. It's been kind of a wild one for me. My youngest daughter has been homesick with the stomach bug since Monday. Any parents out there who had kids with the stomach bug, you know that it can be relentless and exhausting. So I'm grateful that it's Friday, and hopefully we'll get some reprieve over the weekend. It's also Mother's Day on Sunday, so I want to give a shout out to my mom and any moms out there. But my mom specifically, she bought our NES back in 1990, so I am very appreciative for that. She made sure that I had a Super Nintendo to open on Christmas morning back in 1994. She let me spend my own money to buy a Nintendo 64 with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time in late 1998. So we wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for these early formative years with Nintendo consoles, all brought to you by my mom. So thank you, Mom. The biggest event this week that we want to talk about is the shadow dropped Star Fox Nintendo Direct that happened on Wednesday. I was thinking about doing an episode yesterday morning, kind of a bonus episode because it was so surprising, but I just figured I'd wait until Friday. I'm kind of wondering if this is the future of Nintendo Directs. I was just making dinner and I got a push notification from the Nintendo Today app saying that the Star Fox Direct was streaming live at that very moment. And for a second, I felt like a very incompetent podcaster. Like, as a Nintendo podcaster, I should have known about this. I missed the biggest news from Nintendo so far this month. But it turns out there really was no notice for this one. It just kind of dropped quickly, and then they went live immediately. So it turns out all of those rumors we were hearing were true. According to this Nintendo Direct, we are getting a new Star Fox game. It will be exclusive to Switch 2. It'll be out next month on June 25th. It's surprisingly $49.99 digitally and $59.99 physically. I was surprised by all of this around the release date and the pricing. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's talk about the Direct. It opened up with Miyamoto reminding us that Star Fox was a character in the new Super Mario movie. And then it went over to Koizumi to introduce the game. And they showed clips from the movie. So if you didn't see the movie, you saw like the kind of Saturday morning cartoon style intro that they showed for Star Fox in the movie, which I love. Like, I wish they take that cartoon style, that animation style, and turn that into something, whether it's like a small animated series that ends up on one of the streaming services or a full-length movie. I don't care. Like, that was so cool. But this game will be based on Star Fox 64. It features very familiar Star Fox gameplay. You can even use the Nintendo 64 controller if you want for that nostalgic, familiar feel. And it'll also support mouse mode for a bit of more precise feel as well. There's going to be deeper character and story development. All of the characters are fully voiced, obviously. There was a lot of new dialogue in this game in the Nintendo Direct. There will be new expanded cutscenes as well. So we're going to get a better story. Like, we're going to get a deeper look at kind of the narrative that was originally shown in Star Fox 64. The Landmaster and Blue Marine vehicles are back, so it's not just aerial gameplay. There are easy, normal, and expert difficulty settings, so it'll be pretty accessible to newcomers. There's the campaign mode with traditional corridor shooting that we're all used to. And then there's all range levels where you can fly freely in like a large open space. There is a challenge mode to replay missions with extra tasks. There's a battle mode with 4 versus 4 dogfights. There's online multiplayer. There's local game share. They showcased one way to play where one person holds a Joy-Con like a mouse to be the gunner, and a second player holds the Joy-Con sideways to be the pilot. So you can kind of split duties flying the same ship. I thought that was kind of cool with 2 people. I think one of the coolest things they debuted was custom Star Fox character avatars for online play that change your face to look like the character of your choice, where you can like decorate your face. But because you have the camera, it'll actually capture your head, your mouth, your eyebrows, your eye movements. It essentially mirrors your movements and expressions, kind of like a FaceTime filter would. Not innovative new tech. We've seen this everywhere, but I was a bit surprised and delighted to see Nintendo adopt this. I feel like it takes them forever to start to incorporate some of this type of, day-to-day tech that we experience into their platform. So I thought that was very cool. Go Nintendo, they did some sleuthing. They reported that the Japanese game detail page revealed more details. I'm going to read these verbatim. There will be a total of 16 stages to play through, the same as the original Star Fox 64. In addition to the 4 vs 4 multiplayer mode having online capabilities, you'll be able to play against CPUs in offline multiplayer. The game will feature an in-game encyclopedia. This will apparently have a significant amount of text with detailed info on characters and planets. I think we can assume that these features will carry over to the US version and the other versions as well. Now, a lot of people are mad or unimpressed that this is a remake because it's technically a remake of a remake, or to some, it's a remake of a remake of a remake. The argument is that we've already played this game on Nintendo 64 and the Nintendo 3DS with Star Fox 64 3D. And the Wii U had Star Fox Zero, which I don't think was a one-to-one narrative remake of the 64 version, but I think it really was a spiritual successor. Like, it carried over all of the gameplay and all of the same elements. It's a fair argument, but I'm still excited for this game. I mean, it's been a long time since I've played a Star Fox game. I passed over Star Fox Zero on Wii U, despite having a Wii U, because the reviews for that were just kind of difficult. Like, the reviews really said that it was hard to get a hang of the unique control scheme that they try to incorporate using the gamepad. I'll link to the full YouTube Direct if you want to watch the video, if you haven't already. They showed the game's prologue at the end. I really enjoyed this. Again, Star Fox, it will be out on June 25th. I'm surprised, we only have maybe 8 weeks or so that they're giving us runway for this one. And it'll be $49.99 digitally, $59.99 physically. I think they could have went higher, and I'm glad that they didn't. I don't know what that's a reflection of. I don't know if that's a reflection of the length of the game. Star Fox 64 is a pretty short game, so maybe they're assuming that because the campaign is so short and they didn't bulk it up with more gameplay, they bulked it up with more narrative and cutscenes, but because they didn't bulk it up with more gameplay, maybe they're assuming they can't sell to us for $70. But I don't know. I'll take it. It's available for pre-order now. The estimated size is 14.8 gigabytes, so it's not going to take up too much internal space, which is pretty great. The rumbling, of course, is that this reveal, which was rumored already, we heard the leaks about a new Star Fox game, it gives additional credence to the leaks that an Ocarina of Time remake is coming. I think it's safe. It's a safe bet that we're going to get a Zelda game in the next 18 months. And it's going to be a game that isn't on the same scale as Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So what that game looks like, whether it's a remake of a game like Ocarina of Time, whether it's something like Link's Awakening, for example, maybe it's a remake of the Oracle games, maybe it's a reimagining of a game, like maybe the Ocarina of Time remake is a reimagining of Ocarina of Time. Maybe it's a game that's just set in a similar time and place, like A Link Between Worlds being a spiritual successor to A Link to the Past. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, honestly, I would be happy with a remake or reimagining of Ocarina of Time and then take that same engine and then build like a third game in that universe. Like, we got Majora's Mask, right, as a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. Can we get a third game in that universe, in that engine, using similar assets? Can you turn that around in a couple of years? So maybe we get Ocarina of Time, and then the next game is like the successor to Tears of the Kingdom or whatever that ends up being. And then the next game is a traditional 3D Zelda, not an open world one, that is a successor to Majora's Mask or something. That would be very cool. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, what else happened this week? We had Mina the Hollower. This is a game I've been looking forward to playing, from Yacht Club Games, who did the Shovel Knight games. This has been delayed a few times now, but we just received word that it will release on May 29th. So it'll be out this month. It looks like it'll release on Switch 1 and Switch 2 and a bunch of other platforms. And I think it's going to be only $20, which is great. Limited Run Games is planning to release a physical copy of Alien Rogue Incursion Part 1 Evolved Edition, which just released digitally on Switch 2. This will be $49.99 and $69.99 for a deluxe Steelbook edition. You can pre-order this now, but it'll be a while before they ship. I think the Steel Book is going to be like 2027 or something. From the Trails series, NIS America is releasing The Legend of Heroes, Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, 2 separate games later this year. These released on Switch 1 in 2022 and 2023, I think. So these are technically just Switch 2 editions. They'll be available individually or as a bundle, and they'll likely be, digital and physical. Jackbox Games will release their Jackbox Party Pack 12 later this year for Switch and Switch 2. Honestly, I don't think I've played a lot of Jackbox since the pandemic. Like, we were playing a lot during the pandemic with coworkers and with friends and family remotely, which was a lot of fun. But I'd be curious to see, does something here kind of pique my interest? There were also a few new releases this week. So yesterday we got Console Archives Mag Max. This was an NES game. That's $7.99. We got Arcade Archives 2 Arkanoid. That is $9.99. Arkanoid, classic arcade game. And then yesterday we also received Mixtape. So this is on sale today for $17.99. I think it'll go up to $20 after the sale's over. This was one of those featured Annapurna games that we saw in their mini direct trailer. It was like a 90-second trailer, but they showed a lot of content. I ended up picking this up. So I bought this yesterday thanks to a recommendation from a podcaster I listened to. His name is Aiden Mower. He wrote a book called Fight Magic Items, The History of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and the Rise of Japanese RPGs in the West. Great book. I also recommend that if you want to listen to it. It's on Audible. He's putting Mixtape up there as a Game of the Year contender for 2026. And that was enough for me to just pick it up. I was already intrigued by the premise, so I just jumped on it. It's short, so hoping to knock it out quickly over the next week or so, and I'll share my thoughts on it. There are multiple reviews that released this week, but I think what I'll do, since we're past the 12-minute mark already on this episode, I will save them for Tuesday. So I will play the game a little bit this weekend. I will read the reviews. Hopefully I cracked into it enough to get a feel for it. And then I will share what reviewers are saying. I'll share my initial impressions, and then maybe you can decide if this game is worth checking out for yourself. But if you're really looking for a game to play this weekend and you're interested in this, just know that there are reviews out there right now. You can go check them out. All right, that'll be it for today. Thanks always for your time and your attention. It is incredibly meaningful. A quick review goes a long way. We are so close to episode 100. I would love to be able to share a positive review on that show, something new. Definitely helps me out. Sharing with a friend or family member or Discord server or subreddit, wherever you hang out with gamers, that goes even further. Word of mouth has really carried this show. You can go to switch2pod.com for all the things, all the subscription links. That's switch with the number 2pod.com. Switch2pod at Instagram and Blue Sky if you want to reach me. I hope that you have an awesome weekend. I will be back on Tuesday as always. Much love. Now go play some games.